All right, guys. Hi, welcome to our STEMsation Spotlight on this wonderful Sunday evening. Give us a second. We're going to go ahead and share it to our social media pages. Please share, share, share. Tell everybody to tune in. So give us a second. I'm going to share this, start a watch party. All right. Gonna give people a chance to get logged in. All right, you have some people tuning in. Guys, we just want to welcome you. I'll give everybody about another minute. All right. Hi, welcome to STEMsation Spotlight. I am Nikisha Washington. I am the CEO and founder of Knowledge Dene Enterprises, where we inspire and encourage young ladies to have a positive self-image through confidence, character, and class, and becoming future leaders. And so one of our things is we really want to promote future STEM leaders. So we know every Sunday night we come together and we spotlight some amazing women. And today I have such an amazing woman, Kelcee Everette. She is our STEMsation Spotlight for this week. And so if you have not checked out the article, please go to knowledgedene.com so you can check out the article. She is phenomenal. I can't wait for you guys to meet her. She is what we call the STEMsation. And we came up with the name STEMsation, and it's ours, so don't be out there trying to use it. It is ours. But it is a trailblazer in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and math, who are just blazing through their field. But they're doing it with style and grace. So they're making it look easy, but we know it's not easy. But they are being fierce in this field. They're not hiding. They are being very bold. So I would like to welcome our STEMsation for this week, Miss Kelcee Everette. Yay!
Thank you.
All right. Kelcee, go ahead and just let us, let me get our little, okay. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and, what brings us here.
Yes. So my name is Kelcee Everette. I am a first-year PhD student at Harvard Medical School in the Biomedical and Biological Sciences program. So it's basically just a big umbrella program for anyone interested in biology in all of its forms. I also attended Harvard for undergrad, where I studied biomedical engineering. Decided I wanted to kind of stray away from engineering a bit. To me, developing drugs and therapeutics was more in line with what I wanted to do. So I'm just a country girl from Texas. My family's from Fort Worth, Texas. I've always really loved science and tinkering with things and, just always getting into trouble. So.
Oh, wow. All right. And we just want to welcome everyone that's watching us. Please put in questions. We want it to be interactive. Kelcee would love to answer your questions while we have our first Harvard graduate on STEMsation Spotlight. Look at us. Yes. So please leave your questions and please try to stay to the end because we do have a new round that we're calling STEM Sizzle Round. So this one we get into the more edgy questions. So please leave us questions as we go throughout the program. We like to say hi to Denise, which is my mom. She always tunes in. So hi, Mom. And if we can get other viewers to just say hi so we can know you're here and let Kelcee know she has your support. All right, so you gave Kelcee a real nice overview, but this one I want you to go a little more deeper. Who is Kelcee? Like, not just what you do, but just, kind of some things that we would love to learn about you.
Yeah. So I think at my core, I'm someone who's really passionate about making sure everyone has all the opportunities. I grew up in a low SES household, single mother, and she never made me feel like money was an obstacle to doing the things that I wanted to do. So, if it was a science camp I wanted to do, we found a way to make it happen. If it was a sport that I wanted to play, we found a way to make it happen.
Wow.
And I really think that carried through in my studies and what I'm interested in now. So even though I really love science, I want to use science as a tool for social justice. I want to use science as a way for people who need it the most to be able to get the therapeutics and the drugs and the things that they need. And, I'm a 22-year-old, so I like to have fun. I like to hang out with friends and, go home and see my family a lot. I have a cute little niece, Destiny, who also really loves science. Yeah. And yeah, I'm really family oriented. Always been a really big nerd. I love arts and theater arts.
We're not nerds. We're STEMsation. We're trying to debunk that. Like, you can be smart, still be fashionable, cute, and stuff. So we're changing the outlook on nerds. We're like, no, we're STEMsation. I better give it. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome. Now, the next question, and I know you're not deep into your career, but we can talk about your journey. But who inspired you to go into this? Because I love to hear about how your mom was a big supporter, single mother, and now she has a Harvard graduate. Like, oh my God, on her way to a PhD. So I know she has a lot of bragging rights. So, Mom, who else inspired you to go into the biological sciences and, like you said, to even apply to Harvard? Like, let us know. Yes.
Yeah. So I think my mom, hands down, has been my biggest source of support and pushing me academically. My grandmother, who, God bless her soul, unfortunately passed away last April, was also really, really big on education. So after school every day, I would go to her house and do my homework. She'd be so proud, like making her proud about me going home straight, doing homework and not playing video games or watching TV or whatever. I love that feeling. I love making her proud of me. So that was a really big inspiration. My uncle is also like a science nerd. So me and him like built a robot together, and
wow.
He's given me science books on artificial intelligence and all types of stuff. So I think it's been mostly a big family push.
And that's awesome. And like I always preach on here, family influence, family support, that's definitely helpful. Like I said, my mom's tuned in now. Anytime she's home, she's tuning in because she was definitely a support for me. And like you said, I instilled in my sons, when they came home from school, they had to do homework first. You get a snack and do your homework. Then you could play video games, you could be on the phone, whatever you needed to do after that, but homework always comes first. And then I think now, like they've been in school and college, like I said, my youngest son just graduated, graduated early, now he's on to grad school. It's because when you set that foundation, you start them early, you get them in the mindset, and they know this is what is important. So I applaud your family, and I know your grandma is looking down. It's like, look at my baby girl, because that is awesome. That is awesome. Was she able to come to your graduation, or did she pass before your graduation?
She passed a month to the day before my graduation.
But she knows. She knew. She said her work was done, so she did an awesome job. Yes.
Thank you.
As you're studying and through your educational journey, what did you like most about it? Like most about where you headed and what your plan is?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when I was younger, I didn't really know exactly what being a scientist meant. I just knew I liked science. So when I was younger, I didn't really know what being a researcher was, or what is a PhD or anything like that. I had no clue. So I think what I like most about my career now in this point is that I feel like I am actually contributing to my field by, designing experiments that are actually coming up with results that no one else has ever seen before. And hopefully those get published soon. But I think those are like that's the most exciting thing about my career, is like being the first person ever to see something, or being, the mastermind behind a certain experiment, or deciding to move a project in a certain direction. That's the most exciting.
I'm excited because now I can say, I know her. Yes. I should have got in on this. I knew she was great. Yes. So I'm excited as well. I am excited. Yes. Now, just a little bit more. I know what you want to do. Can you talk more about the therapeutic drugs and different things that you want to produce, and why is that such a passion of yours?
Yeah. So I didn't know I was interested in therapeutics until maybe like my sophomore year in undergrad.
Okay.
And that's when I started working at the Broad Institute, which is this academic collaboration between MIT and Harvard. And at the Broad Institute, I worked on a project that was geared towards Latin American community. Like there's variations of a certain gene that's only found in this community. And, you know, no one's ever looked at it before or seen it before because no one has ever included Latin American people as a majority in these types of studies that would determine these genes. So I thought that was mind-blowing to me. Like, of course, you're not going to see certain things if you're not looking for the people who are most affected by it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing these studies that, you know, are based off of people's genotypes, you're only going to get the genotypes of European people if you're only looking at European people, which is how these types of things are set up currently. So to me, it's really exciting to be able to tailor medicine to the populations that really need these medications the most. And yeah, right now I've started taking classes in therapeutic development. So I knew it was like in the abstract, something that I wanted to do, but now I'm actually like finding those classes. Yeah. And I like, you know, feel like I have gained a vocabulary to be able to talk about therapeutics. Like I know what a PKPD is. I know what bioavailability means. I know what these like very technical terms mean and how I can apply them to certain things. And yeah, the reason why I'm so passionate about it is because I think everyone deserves access to quality healthcare. Yeah. I don't think we should be basing, you know, groundbreaking therapeutic development off of one population or one ethnicity, especially when other populations and other ethnicities already have really big health disparities. So, yeah, that's really
awesome. We're so glad you're there and you're doing what you're doing, because that's what this is all about. It's about highlighting those women that are on the ground floor fighting, being trailblazers. And we don't know anything about this. Like if we wouldn't have found you on Instagram and say, hey, she sounds interesting, let's interview her, we wouldn't have known. Now later, once you blow up and your name is everything, we were like, oh, where, you know, but now we're able to bring you to the masses and let everybody understand there's people out there fighting for us. There's people that's fighting for us every day that we don't know. And as we talk more, this is what I'm going to talk about now. I know it's not been, you know, peaches and roses and everything. Like now we want to talk about what have you had to overcome, like especially, you know, being African-American woman and being a woman. So, you know, being African and a woman, I know, and you're in a predominantly white dominated male field. Now it's time to get into the nitty gritty. Like what are some of the things that would you change about your career, and when we say career, we're talking about educational journey. Like what would you change? Like what have you experienced that, you know, you want to make sure that others behind you are not falling into that or won't have to experience that as well?
Yeah. I think very broadly, one of my biggest pet peeves or things that I want to change about my career or my career field is that the word diversity is kind of just thrown around, but there's not always a lot put behind the effort of diversity. So sometimes it can feel like people do a lot to get students of color into certain places, into certain classrooms, into certain institutions or programs or what have you, but they don't always do the most to keep them there. And I've definitely had to find mentors and administrators along the way who have been supportive of me through that journey. But I don't think that it should be a second, like a backhanded kind of thing that people think about. It shouldn't be enough to just get Black kids, Latino kids, Native American kids to the table. Like we should be actively engaging them in these processes. I would say maybe another thing that, I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing, but a skill that I had to learn is how to speak up for myself within the classroom. So I've never really thought of myself as a timid person. I'm very extroverted. As a cheerleader, I was, you know, an actress. I did theater arts. I've always I've liked being in front of people. I like talking. But the way in which you have to advocate for yourself and stick up for yourself in a white male-dominated field of academia is very, very different. And I don't think that should have to be a skill that Black women or women of color have to learn. I think it should just, everyone should be able to communicate the way in which they communicate. And I shouldn't have to change the way I talk or the way I can express myself in these spaces. So.
Yeah, and that's something we talked about, and I know it's being, you know, mentioned in different fields and different things, but code switching, you know, like you talk around your friends, but then as soon as you get in there, even though, you know, you don't, you just kind of mindful of everything. Am I doing this? Am I am I too loud? Am I doing this? Are they going to look at me and be in a certain way? And it's a shame that we have to feel that way, but we know, even though it's 2019, people is not, they're still seeing our skin color first, no matter what. And so I do like what you said about advocating for yourself, like speaking up, like, like you said, you're actors, you're a cheerleader, so you're so used to doing that. But then when you get in those rooms and those classrooms and those boardrooms and the science labs and the hospitals, it's like we shrink. And it's like we don't realize it. Well, we know we're shrinking, and then we have to stop it. We have to stop, dimming our light. And like you're saying, we need to speak up. And if we know that we're right about something, we have to stand for it. And it's hard when you're like the only one in the room. So you would say when it's a group of us girls, like, oh girl, you got your cheerleaders, go girl, but you're there by yourself. But you just got to realize your ancestors, your grandma, those that came before you are there with you. And they're, what they've put in you, that they are waiting, they want you to feel it, and they want you not to give up. And so I'm just applauding you for doing that. That is awesome. And thanks for letting our viewers know, be an advocate. Be an advocate for yourself. Stand up. Speak loudly. Be bold. Walk into the room with confidence. You deserve to be there. You definitely deserve to be there. So that's awesome. Guys, we're waiting on, we have some viewers. Come on. Give us some good questions. I did put the link, so if you can check her out at the actual article that's on NalaDene.com. Check her out after we get off of here, but send us some questions. But this is awesome. This is awesome. So we kind of talked about this. So it just kind of goes in, but the stigma of being a woman of color in STEM. What are some ways, you kind of talked about it, but what are some ways that you combated it and you made sure that you're not just out there feeding into the stereotype? Like, what did you have to do? Some things that you can give to others that are having to deal with that similar situation.
Yeah, I guess that's a good question, because you have to be able to navigate the space and stay true to yourself, right? Like, I don't want to present a version of myself in class or to professors or in a lab that's not myself. But I think for me, one thing that's been the best is, like, one thing I really enjoyed, or one thing that's helped me combat the stigma, is to realize that it's not all on my shoulders. Just because I'm the only Black woman in the room doesn't mean I have to speak for all Black women. It's okay for me to ask for help. It's okay for me to ask questions. It's okay for me to be wrong. And it's okay for me to be upfront. Like my mentor in lab, first day I was like, I ask a lot of questions. I don't want to mess anything up. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions.
Yes, that's awesome.
To not feel, not to think that I'm dumb because I ask questions or that I don't know a lot, but because I want to learn. And being honest with myself and being honest with those around me and framing things like that, I think has really helped me combat the stigma, because then it doesn't come across as, oh, she's loud and she's a know-it-all. She's so aggressive in X, Y, and Z. But then it's also me being honest about, maybe I don't know the most. And it's not me being stupid or dumb, because to me, what is unintelligent or stupid or dumb is when people act like they know something,
right,
or, when they really don't, when they can't back it up. So I think that's been a good way of me combating the stigma both ways.
That's awesome. That's awesome. The next question, now we kind of talked about it off camera, but this is how you give tips and advice. But I want you to talk in this area about how you even applied to Harvard. Like, what made you, like, I think that's such a great story. And for others that might think like, oh, I'm not going to make it, or why would I do that? Like, talk about that, because I just was like, oh man, this is the greatest story. So please share that with our viewers.
Yeah. So Harvard, I feel like a lot of people know Harvard, the name, people, oh, that's the best college, that's this, that, or whatever. And in high school, I knew I was smart. Like, I graduated valedictorian. I knew I was smart, but Harvard was nowhere on my radar. Like, I was not even thinking about Harvard. And I was talking with a friend one day about, where we were applying to schools. And he was like, oh, well, I'm going to apply to Harvard, and I'm applying here and there. And our lists match up pretty well, except for Harvard. And I kind of had to pause, like, if he thinks that he can get into Harvard, like, who am I to think that I can't?
Yeah.
So I really applied on a whim just because of that conversation. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to apply. And I got in. That was, Yeah, not even. The funniest thing is that I was actually at Duke's Admitted Students Weekend when I got into Harvard, because all of the Ivy League schools dropped their admissions decisions 5 p.m. on the same day. We
Oh,
were at Duke, and we were at dinner as a bunch of, Black students. And they're like, oh, I got into Harvard, I got into Yale, I got into Dartmouth. They're saying all these Ivies. I didn't want to look because I was like, I don't want to, ruin my time if I get a rejection letter. And I remember calling my mom that night being like, oh my God, Mom, these kids are so smart. They got into Harvard. And little did I know, like, I was one of those kids. Like,
yeah.
I could be proud of myself for that. So yeah, I wasn't even going to do it, but I'm glad that I did.
Right.
So my biggest tip, my biggest piece of advice would be, don't count yourself out. Like, let other people tell you no. Don't tell yourself no. Always, always, always try and apply and do it.
I'm typing that in, so hold on. Don't count yourself out. That's so great. You said let other people tell you no. Like
other people tell you no.
And my mom always say, closed mouths don't get fed. And so I'm gonna let you know what I need, and all you can do is say no. But if I don't even ask, if I'm too afraid to ask before it even happened, then I would never know. I don't never know where I'm gonna get to. So it's just, oh yeah, I'm excited. Yes.
And in that same vein, I remember in elementary school, my mom told me something that has stuck with me. She tells me a lot of things that have stuck with me for the rest of my life. But one thing, I was probably like in the 3rd grade, but she told me, don't seek validation from other people. Like, your validation has to be internal. You have to know that you're good enough. Other people aren't going to tell you that you're good enough. So you have to know that you're good enough. You have to know that you're more than capable of doing things. So that's a piece of advice. And then beyond that, having a support system that will believe in you more than you believe in yourself, because sometimes it gets hard. Sometimes you don't know if you're good enough for something, right?
Yes.
But if you have, I have my mom, but, friends, your whole support system, friends, family, your professors, your mentors, everyone around you should believe in you even more than you believe in yourself.
Awesome. So this leads us into, what are your future goals? What do you see yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question. If I'm 100% honest, I don't know.
That's good.
I think PhD is 4 to 6 years. So hopefully I'll be spending this time in that PhD, really thinking about, what the next steps are. And I think 4 to 6 years is a good amount of time to do so. But I definitely do see myself somewhere along the therapeutics pipeline. If I'm not actually the person, at the bench making these drug compounds, maybe public policy, like making sure the drugs that are made can actually get to the people who need them. So yeah, maybe something like that.
And it's so funny. So I've been like Netflixing it. And so Killer Mike has like this show, and he's going around. And so one of the things he was about when he was like talking about the school system, he's like, we make 22-year-olds decide what they want to be for the rest of their lives when 50-year-olds don't know. Like I said, because me, like I'm in the process of like, okay, where I want to go in my career. And so and when I asked you that, he said, I don't know. That is so valid. And we need to recognize and apply people to say, I don't know yet. Because whatever I say today, it can change and it's okay. And I think we put people in so much pressure on our young kids. Figure out what you want to do. You need to know now. You need to know now. And then, like we said, the people that are telling them that their parents or society, they haven't even figured it out. They're 30, 40, 50 years old. And they're still like, well, I want to change careers. Or I want to open a business. I want to do this. So for you to say that and be so honest, I love that, because that's what our viewers need to see. You may not know. You might want to change. You might want to move states. You might want to go into a whole different direction. It's okay. Never stop learning. Never stop seeking. And just have the faith and just the drive to take risks. And so I do appreciate you for saying that, because sometimes we're like, come on, you're 22. You're going for your PhD. You can know what you want to do right now. No, it's okay. So I do appreciate that. So. All right. Your family influence. You talked about it, so just anyone you want to really, besides mom, because mom, we know she's definitely there. But others that may be helping with your influence. I know uncle has helped. This is just your time to really highlight family, and so we could say, go family.
Yes, I love my family. My family is amazing. They've been a great support system. We all live very close to each other in Texas. Now I'm the
Oh,
furthest away. So, I've grown up with my aunts and my grandma, my sister. Everyone's down the street or in the same house, around. Um, I guess one person that I haven't talked about yet is my sister. My big sister is one of my biggest, sources of inspiration and one of my biggest supporters. Um, she's always down to help. She's a English teacher, so like writing is her thing.
oh
Uh,
wow.
so anytime I needed help with an application or something, like,
Right.
hey,
That's
can you do
awesome.
this for me? She's always been like my cheerleader, and I was a cheerleader, but she's always been like my cheerleader.
That's awesome.
There with me all along the way. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then, like you said, that writing skills are so important. Like you said, for applications, anything now. So that's always, I'm like, hey, look up sister. Hey. Before we go to the STEM Sizzle Round, let's talk about giving back. Like, what ways have especially now that you are one of the only ones, and like you said, you're going to be like the first to do certain things. How do you pay it forward and give it back at the same time? Like, how do you do those things?
Yeah. I guess when I was younger in high school, I tried to give Black girls a safe space in terms of like cheerleading. So outside of science, but still giving Black girls a chance to, learn new cheers and
Yeah.
to team build with each other, teamwork with each other and build a team and a community, because those types of skills are important, no matter what you do in life. Now I'm planning on so my program has a teaching requirement, and instead of teaching in class, you can do community engagement.
Okay.
So I'm actually planning on teaching in a predominantly Black, low-income area around in my area in Boston.
Okay.
And science classes during a summer day camp. So I'm actually really excited to be able to do that. That'll be happening in June.
That's awesome. Well, that's so funny because here in Orlando, that's where I'm from, I'm going to do a science camp too. I'm starting with the younger girls, and that's one of our missions with Knowledge in the Enterprises. We want to start them early because by me being a middle school science teacher, by the time those students get to me, those girls, like you said, especially the Black girls, I'm not smart enough. I don't like science.
Mm-hmm.
We have to expose them. We have to educate them, expose them, empower them, and equip them with the tools necessary to become these STEM future leaders. If we do not, then we're setting them up. We're not having the next generation and stuff. So I really applaud you for doing that as well. And our camps are going to be in June. So hey, we can do a little STEM field trip or something just to see what you guys are doing as well. Because I think that is awesome. Like I would love to just see what's going on your end as well. So
yeah.
All right. Well, we have covered everything that's in the article. Now we're about to get to the STEM Sizzle Round. This is the more edgy round. Let me hide that. Show this. STEM Sizzle. It has you can't see, but it has the little thing going back and forth. So it's kind of like I need some little lights and stuff to be like yes. So those of you that are tuning in, like I said, go ahead and say hi. If you have any questions for Kelcee, we will definitely answer those. We want to be interactive. I know I have some people that you can't really see on ours because they're doing a watch party, but Eric Cheatham, I believe. At first he said, don't give up on your dreams. Absolutely. Each one teach one. He said he's impressed. He said, keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Andy, she's awesome. She said, my doctor is saying something similar. They're saying, wow. Eric said, mothers are very special. Hashtag Black Girl Magic, hashtag STEMsation. I love it. Yes. So it's wonderful to get that feedback and just know that what you're doing is awesome. So I just want to applaud you. All right.
Thank you.
It comes to some of the sizzling questions. I'm excited. How have you handled blatant racism in your school or career? Like just flat out, like you're like, did they actually say that? Like, so what happened and then how did you handle it?
Yeah, I think for me, the way I handle it is really dependent on my mood. Like it just really depends on how my day has been that day.
Yes.
Sometimes it's, more of a clapback, more of a like, I can't believe you just said something so ignorant. Like, here's why what you said is really ignorant.
Wow.
And sometimes sometimes it's a hard day and I don't feel like dealing with it. And I'm just like, okay, noted for next time I interact with this person, I know what's up. The easiest times that I've been able to deal with this is when there are other Black people in the room or other Black girls in the room.
Like,
you kind of give each other that look like
get them, girl. Get them.
Okay. So yeah, that's how I deal with it in a variety of ways.
What do they say? Like, I'm curious. Like, what have they said? Like, is it that blatant, or is it more like that slide under the,
Sometimes most of the times it's microaggressions. So I think sometimes other people don't understand until I say something, until I say something to address it. I'm trying to think of a more recent example.
Okay.
Oh, I've had someone ask me, this is outside of science, but I've had someone ask me, why do you sound so angry when you talk? Why do you always sound angry? And to anybody else listening to that conversation, they might not have thought anything of it.
Right.
But I knew it was a microaggression, and I knew that what they said wasn't okay. So I kind of pushed them on it. I was like, well, why are you saying that I sound angry?
Right.
Like, do you think it's okay to tell Black women they sound angry? Like, am I really angry, or is that a projection that you're putting onto me?
Right. Like, is that what you're? Yeah, that's awful. That's awful that we have to go through that. That's awful.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like like, I love that you said it just depends on your mood, and I love it. It's like, seriously, like, am I about to go here with you? Well, I'm just gonna let it slide. And it's even by me being, like I said, I'm in a new school teaching, and it's different races, and it's some of the kids will say something, and I'm like, I want my job. I'm just gonna, so I have to educate them in a way, but let it been some in a different setting. Oh, they would have got all kind of head rolls and stuff. And I don't care what stereotype I'm portraying. I'm gonna let you know that was inappropriate, and I appreciate it. So, yeah. All right. Well, all right. I like this question. Do you feel you have to turn down your Blackness at Harvard?
No. And I think what surprises people is how many Black people there are at Harvard. Like, there could still definitely be more, but there is a Black community at Harvard that we all really have each other's backs. I've never felt like I've had to turn down my Blackness because of these communities. So in undergrad, like my home basically was Black Cast, which was the Black theater group on campus.
Okay.
And now as a graduate student, we have Black groups. We have the Black Christian Ministries group. So it's where I can go fellowship with other people, other Southern Christian Black people who worship the same way I worship, and it really get me on that level. Yeah, I've never felt like I've had to turn down my Blackness or,
that's awesome.
Be a certain thing or act a certain way that I'm not, because I'm only me. I'm only Kelcee. I only know how to be, a Black girl. So, yeah.
And I think too, like you said, it's it's not 1960. Like, you're here in 2019, so there's others, and then I think that you have that community of Black people that's supporting. So it's like you guys can be who you are, and you don't have to worry about turning it down. So I do applaud you for going there and still being yourself, not losing yourself in that. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Which powerful or successful women do you admire the most, and why? So, like, if you could change places for a day, who would it be?
Oh, there's a lot. I absolutely adore Michelle Obama.
That's mine. We have the same birthday. She was salutatorian of our high school class. I was salutatorian. I was like, oh my God, we're kindred spirits. Yes. So I love her. I was hoping you love her.
I adore Michelle Obama. I really like Shonda Rhimes.
Yes.
I'm a writer, so she's gold.
Yeah. I read her book about saying yes, like not just saying yes, and how she had to come out her comfort zone. And you would think a writer who's writing all these wonderful stories and stuff. And she was like, I don't like them in front of people. Like she would try to get out of stuff, and now she's like, I'm saying yes to everything. You offer me something. So Shonda Rhimes, if you get a hold of this video, I'm offering you to come on and mentor and like. So somebody give this to Shonda Rhimes. So since you're saying yes to everything, say yes to us. Yes.
Yes. And there are Black women activists that I look up to.
Okay.
One of my favorites is Bree Newsom.
Okay.
So, Bree Newsom has done tons of things, but I think what most people know her for is she's the woman who climbed the flagpole in South Carolina to pull down the Confederate flag at the.
Yeah. Go girl. Oh, that's our courage. Yes.
Yes. So I follow her on Twitter and everywhere else I could follow her. But she does the work that not everyone can do. She's a social justice advocate in a way that not everyone can be.
Yeah.
But she is definitely a source of inspiration for me in my science.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Now we're getting a little personal. Are Black men intimidated to date you?
Are they intimidated to date me? That's a good question, because if they're intimidated to date me, I don't want to date them anyway.
Like that.
I think that, I haven't felt like they are, but if they are, like,
then they probably don't.
They're running themselves off. I'm fine with that, So yeah, I do think sometimes, like, if a guy hears you go to Harvard or oh, she studies science, oh, she does that, a guy who's insecure in himself will be intimidated, but that's not the kind of guy I want. So
and they probably won't even approach you, or if they hear you talking, you say Harvard, they're like, okay. They don't understand. Like you said, they don't know the background where you came from. Like that's a part of me. Like that's not all I am, and so get to know me and stuff. But like I said, if they got their insecurities, boo, we do not want you. You move over.
Yes.
So I love it. All right. So this last question, I definitely had to ask you because when I was teaching Indiana, I had this best friend who graduated. She graduated from Howard. Her husband graduated from Howard. And so we always had these discussions about HBCUs. And then we talk about the funding with HBCUs and just like even like the star athletes, if they chose to go to a HBCU, that money would kind of follow. They'll get more of the sponsorships and different things. And so I think people that like went to HBCU, and I don't know because I can't speak, so I can't even say the thing, but I just wanted to ask you the question because I'm pretty sure you had a choice and an option of where you wanted to go. Why didn't you decide to go to HBCU?
Yeah, my personal decision mostly came down to money. So with Harvard, they pay, if your parents make under I think it's $60,000, you don't have to pay for school. You go, that's a full ride. So for me, it was like, hey, I won't be in student debt. That's great. That's an awesome option.
That's definitely a good option. And that's a good point that you just made, a valid point, like in money, like, yes.
And I think it's a valid decision, a valid question and a valid decision for any student, like wherever they decide to go. I don't value, one degree from one institution over another. A college degree is a college degree. Like you put in the work for that, you did that. So whether it's at Harvard or at Howard or anywhere in between, that
definitely
is an accomplishment in and of itself.
It's not easy to attain. It's not easy to obtain. If it was, everyone would have one. And a lot of people that start off and kind of what you said, they talk about diversity, but they don't put, not talking about HBCUs, but just Harvard and whether you don't put the effort behind to support those students. They can come to your school, but if they don't have any resources to help them, then it's not going to be valid anyway. So whether you go to Harvard or Howard, you definitely need a support system and support resources that are put in place. So,
yeah,
that's awesome. That was a great answer. Like you say, money. Like, hey, how is it on there? And you're like, okay, yes. So, yes, I definitely. And then, like you said, you got in there on a whim. You applied on a whim.
Right.
You definitely was validated. Like you definitely had all the credentials to get there because they're just not going to let you in there. So we applaud you and your efforts. And we just want to thank you for taking this time out to talk with us. And we just appreciate you. Like you have definitely opened our eyes and our light to the other side. Like I said, not to say I had my first Harvard graduate on here, like, you know, and just to hear your side and still be like, oh, Kelcee's cool. I can hang out with Kelcee. Like she's trying to get back. Like she's me. Like, so when other little girls who watch this can say, oh, she did it, I can do it, you know, and that's what we really want. We want to highlight so that other people can feel that they can do it and they're capable of doing it. And don't give up. Like you say, find that validation in yourself. And that's going to just help me get through Monday tomorrow when I'm done with those like validation in myself. Okay, I got this. I can do this. Like, I'm not going to let you roll me off. So I definitely appreciate that. So
thank you for having me.
Is there anything else you would like to say? Any more shout outs? And I'm trying to see if anybody else said anything.
Any more shout outs? Shout out to all my family if I haven't, you know, said them already. That's really my foundation for everything that I do. Definitely. And I guess the one thing I want people to leave with is, especially young Black girls, if I can do it, you can do it.
Ooh,
like there is nothing, you know, so special about me that I'm where I am that you don't also have. So yeah, just go for it.
Go for it, yes. And just like we said, we never knew that Harvard had those options. Good to know. Free rides? Oh, definitely. So that's something we want to add to our website, let people know, and just have those resources because we don't know. Like we hear about it, but we're like, they don't give it to people. And then now we have someone to say, yes, I used it. It works. I got my undergraduate degree. Be like me. So I love it. I love it. Well, we would like to thank everyone on this Sunday evening to come and join us and join our STEMsation Spotlight and just hearing all these wonderful inspirational words and just hearing her journey. Kelcee has been awesome. We definitely want to keep in touch with Kelcee because we know she's definitely a trailblazer and we're going to be watching her and Michelle doing stuff and I'll be like, don't forget me. I want to go. Like, let me be in the background of you guys. So it is awesome. We thank everyone for tuning in. We please, if you have not went to the website, go to the website, read our article, share this broadcast later on this week if you need to, tonight. Share so we can get the message out to others. So I don't have anything else to say, but definitely just check us out, knowledgeandA.com. And Kelcee, if you want to give any of your like social media handles or anything so they know how to find you as well.
Yeah, so I'm blogging my graduate school journey on Instagram, and that is at Becoming Dr. Kells, Kels is how I spell Kells. So if you're interested in more frequent updates, follow me on Instagram.
Yes, I think that's awesome. Yes, Dr. Kells. Yes, I love it. Well, we're going to say goodnight. Thank you, guys. It's been awesome. If you have any more questions or concerns or issues, or if you know any more people that might want to be STEMsations, please have them reach out to us because we've, Love in Advance says, thank you, ladies. Love this. Keep up all the great work. All right. We'll see. Okay. All right, guys. Well, see you next time, next Sunday. Meet us right here, same place, same time. Bye-bye.